welcome to the Knitting with Cat Hair podcast. My name is Nikki. I'm also known as Knitting with Cat Hair on Instagram and Cat Hair Knitting on Ravelry. I am coming to you from Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, which lies atop the traditional lands of the Otagamishing and Anishinaabe people, where I live with my partner, our 2 daughters, and our 5 cats. And if this is your first time here, a big warm welcome and a big welcome back to all returning viewers. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to spend with me. So we'll jump right in and we'll start with what I'm wearing. Today I am wearing the Vere Tee, which is a pattern by We Are Knitters. I knitted up. It was part of a kit that I received last year, and I think I just said knitted up. It's actually a crochet top. It's my first and to date only crocheted garment that I've made. It was a beginner pattern. Like I said, it came in a kit and it was very simple to make. It was literally just 2 squares that you crocheted and then like separate panels, and then you just seam up the sides and the shoulders, and there's your top. I think it just involved like a few of the basic stitches. So in US terms, I think it was like a single and double crochet. And then there were some of these little kind of lace type stitches. And to be honest, I can't remember how those were created, but I don't remember struggling at all. And I am by no means an expert crocheter. So yeah, I'd really like to make some more crocheted garments. And I think I'll be keeping my eye out for some more patterns, because they go so quickly. Granted, they use a lot more yarn, but yeah, they're so quick. And this is the perfect summer top. It's nice and light. It is a bit heavy. It's an Aran weight, but in terms of like, I don't find myself getting hot when I'm wearing it outside in the summer. So yeah, highly recommend. And now we'll move into finished objects, because I am wearing one. Actually, this is my only finished object for today. This is the Hiedra headband, which is a pattern by FiberTales. And I knit this up. This one's knit, but it's knit out of the exact same cotton, so the Pima cotton. It took 28 grams or so of yarn, which is like nothing, to make this headband. And yeah, I kind of like it. It's pretty, like, I don't know, kind of hippie-ish. I like that kind of style, the boho style. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I am interested to see how it holds up, because it is 100% cotton, so I'm not sure if it's going to stretch. But I think I've been told that you can just throw it back in the dryer, like wash and throw it in the dryer, and it'll kind of like shrink back up. Haven't tried that yet. Haven't tried that with this top yet either. And it hasn't, I don't think it's really stretched that much, but I haven't really measured it, so. Anyways, yeah, so that's my finished object. I'll pop in a picture so you can see a little bit closer up, because I can't tell if you can actually see the details of it, but it was really fun. It was a fun pattern to make, and there's these interested little braids along the edges that I'd never done before, and I thought were pretty fun to make. So yes, also highly recommend this pattern. Okay, let's move into whips. Let's start with one we haven't shown in a little while. So I pulled out the other day, my Bressay Dress, which is a pattern by Gudrun Johnston. It is found in a book called Fair Style. This is the book. Hopefully, not too much glare from the ring light. There we go. Fair Isle Style by Mary Jane Mucklestone. It's a cute book. It's got quite a few Fair Isle type patterns in it. It's currently out of print. Yeah, so I had to get it on Amazon. I got a used copy, which looked brand new. So if you're interested in getting a copy of the book, and I did talk about it a few episodes ago, I kind of showed through some of the patterns that are in it. Yeah, if you're interested in getting it, I recommend checking out perhaps Amazon or used bookstores. So I'm making the Bressay dress. I will pop in a picture of what the dress looks like, and then I will show you my version. I'm making the extra large size. Sorry, I have some notes here, so I might have to look down a little bit. I'm making, I think it's size 46.25 inches. I have a 45-inch bust. So I have split for the sleeves. Hooray! If you looked at the pattern, you'd see that there's really only a little bit of Fair Isle on this. It's mostly stockinette, and it's a dress, so it's a lot of knitting in the round. Stockinette in the round. But yeah, I've split for the sleeves, and now I'm just doing the never-ending body. And there's some cute little pockets on there that have kind of like they have Fair Isle around them, which look really cute. And I think there's some Fair Isle at the bottom of the dress as well. So slowly but surely. So I'm using Brooklyn Tweed Loft, which is the called for yarn for this pattern, in the colorways Storm Cloud for the main color. This darker turquoise color is called Tartan. The lighter turquoise is called Iceberg, and the yellow is called Hayloft. And this is my first time knitting with Brooklyn Tweed yarns of any kind, and I'm enjoying it. It's a very different type of yarn. I spoke about this in one of my previous episodes when I was talking about color swatching and trying to figure out which yarns I wanted to use, and I really wasn't happy when I tried to mix anything other than Brooklyn Tweed Loft yarns together, because it's such a unique type of yarn. I don't know how to explain it, but you can tell the difference when you try and put in another type of yarn. I don't know if it's because I think it's a single ply. It's definitely, if there is any, I don't think there's plies to it. I think it's single, and it's very loosely spun, I think. Anyways, it also breaks very easily. My goodness, you can just like pull it apart. Not as bad as like unspun, like a Nutidin or a Plotulopi, but it definitely breaks quite easily. The good news is that because it's 100% wool, you can easily just slice it back together by doing a bit of felting. Okay, so that is the progress on my Bressay dress. And I think I do have a stitch progress keeper, so that's where I was last time. I really didn't do that much, but I did split for the sleeves. I hadn't done that last time, so something new. And this will be my conference call knitting. I'll leave it by my desk so that when we have conference calls and I'm able to, I can just knit on it, because it's just stockinette in the round. So that is that. Is there anything else I wanted to say about it? Oh yes, I am using US 2 needles, which is making it go even slower. And my gauge is still loose, if you can believe it. But I refused to go down to US 1s. I was like, no, that's what I knit my socks on. I'm not doing that for a whole entire dress. It already takes me long enough to get a pair of socks done. So yeah, I've tried on just like when I split for the sleeves, the top seems to fit fine. I think it'll be fine. Okay, so that is the Bressay dress. Next up, speaking of socks, I have a pair of vanilla socks. I'm knitting these 2 at a time. And yeah, I don't know. It's taking me a really long time, but I think I don't know about you guys, but when I have to do the heels of socks, that's where I kind of stall out. Once I put the heels in, things start to go faster, but I don't know what it is about the heels. I think it's the method that I do. Like I do a heel flap and gusset, and I actually have to think about, things, numbers and stuff. Okay, so these are my 2 socks. They're nothing fancy. They're just 3x1 rib, but I have turned the heels on both of them now. And so it should be smooth sailing. I just have to finish the foot and put in a toe. I am knitting these out of 2 different yarns by Urso Yarn Co., which is a Canadian yarn dyer based out of Quebec. So this main color here is Urso Yarn Co. Petite Face Bleue, which is a 80% BFL, 20% nylon, non-superwash. And then this color, maybe you can see it better if I show the heel. The heel color is their mouton base, which is 80% Dorset, 20% nylon. And it is in the colorway Lighthorn. And I just love both of them. And they're both non-superwash. They're such a pleasure to knit. I do enjoy them. And I really love this color. Actually, I love both colors very much. I think I'm going to have quite a bit of leftovers. I've already made a pair of, what were they called? Into the Wood socks by Melody Hoffman out of the same two colors. I used the kind of the variegated one for the main color on that one. And then the trees were this peachy beige latte color. And so I think I'm still going to have quite a bit of leftovers of the latte. So I'm thinking I've been saving up all of my yarn, like my kind of more neutral leftovers. And I'm thinking of starting another blanket because I need another blanket on the needles. This is the color, the cake. And this is Lighthorn in the ball. Really lovely. And I am using US ones for these. My standard, no, am I using US ones? Yes, I am. Of course I am. US ones, 2.25 millimeters. That's my standard for socks, for fingering weight socks. And I think that is it. I'm hoping to have these done by next podcast. And then I can cast on another pair of socks because I like to have a smaller project on the needles to kind of balance out some of these larger projects that I'm working on. Okay, next up, I'll give you an update on my Daffodil, which is a pattern by Marie Wallin. It's from her Springtime Collection book. So this is what I have so far. Progress Keeper is where I was last time I showed it. I have done several repeats. I have also done several mistakes. And frankly, I don't think you can really tell, so I'm not worried about it. It's on the back as well. So that's a plus. Hopefully, by the time I get to the front, it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not making mistakes because I'm like messing the stitch up on purpose, like unintentionally because I'm doing it wrong. What I'm doing is I'm not paying attention. It's totally because I try to multitask every time I'm knitting. So yeah, but I just love it. Maybe I can show a little closer up the lace. And there's this beautiful cable and then this cable panel. It's just really, really pretty. It's very much a joy to work on. But like I said, I should be paying more attention while I'm doing it. I don't know. I have a hard time. I have a hard time sometimes just knitting. I'm always like watching a podcast or listening to something or talking. The yarn. Now I don't have it. I have a cone of it. I showed it on my last episode. It's Holst Garn Super Soft. This is my messy ball that I tried to like just wind off of the cone. And it is in the colorway Sweet Pea, which is this like pinky purple. And when you look close up to it, you can see that there's like yellow flecks in it. It's really pretty, really pretty. And as I mentioned, it's pretty crunchy. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's kind of crunchy sounding, but I've heard that once you wash it, it really softens up and it blooms lovely. Lovely? Beautifully. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens after I wash it. Yes, and it was a very affordable yarn. I ordered it from Denmark when Holst Garn, like I ordered it right from Holst Garn when they were having a sale. I can't remember how much the regular price is, but honestly, it was like, I think it was $18 American for a cone, and a cone has 500 grams or over 3,100 yards of yarn on it. And even with the shipping and everything to Canada, it was like very affordable, very affordable. Like I'm going to have no problem getting a whole sweater out of this and then some. Like I'll probably have quite a bit left over to do some color work potentially in the future, because I bought four cones, all different colors. So that is the daffodil. I am using US 2 needles for it. And that is why my tips weren't on. I don't know if you noticed that, but I had to borrow the tips to work on the Bressay dress. So I kind of have to switch back and forth between the two projects because I only have the one set of tips. Really, I could just get another set, but I didn't figure I'd knit so much on US 2s. I have multiple sets of US 3s and 4 tips because that's what I seem to use a lot of. But yeah, it seems like I'm getting into finer projects. So I'm using US 2 needles and I'm knitting the size XL, which accommodates a 44 to 46 inch bust. And as I mentioned, I have a 45 inch bust. So yeah, I'm really very much enjoying it. Okay, and then finally, wow, I feel like I'm just whizzing through. And finally, my last whip for today is an update on my chestnut cardigan, which is also a pattern by Marie Wallin. And I was really hoping to have the sleeves done. And the only reason I don't have them done is because I ran out of yarn. I thought I had an extra ball of one of the colors and I couldn't find it. So I don't think I did have it. Anyway, so sleeves are still in progress, but I did a lot. I did as much as I could until I had to wait for my yarn to arrive. So let's see, I'm knitting the sleeves 2 at a time. There's my little mushroom progress keeper way down here. I did quite a bit, especially considering it's 2 at a time. I know it's curling, so you can't see the full extent, but it's really lovely. I've mentioned this before. I love this project. I very much enjoy working on it. It's been a long process, but it's not something that I feel pressured to knit or feel bad about how long it's taking. It's been very enjoyable. I did set myself a goal. I wanted to have it done in a year. I started it last August 1st, and I would like to have it done by August 1st of this year, and I think that's very much attainable, so long as, you know, there's no unforeseen circumstances that happen. But I'm nearing the end. I've shown, if you want to see more of the sweater, I didn't bring all the pieces down with me, but I did show it on the last episode. So I've done the back panel, the 2 front panels, and now I'm finishing the sleeves. And actually, I have seamed the front and back pieces on the shoulders together. So it's actually kind of like a vest, open-sided, maybe a poncho, open-sided vest right now. So yeah, because I couldn't do anything else. I was like, I ran out of, it's not that it matters, but it was this dark brown color, and it's actually used in quite a few places. So not just in the sleeves, but further on when you start doing the button band and the collar, it's used in there too. So I couldn't go any further. So I wove in some ends and seamed the shoulders, and that was what I could do while I waited, and then worked on the Bersay. I think that's why it came out of hiding, was because I had to find something else to work on. But yeah, very much enjoying this. It's been a great experience, absolutely great. And with that, I should mention we are hosting a make along over on Instagram using the hashtag A Year of Marie Wallin Cal. And it started August 1st, so it includes projects that were started after August 1st of last year, and it will run until August 1st of this year. And at the end of it, I'm going to be doing some draws for some prizes. So make sure that you use the hashtag on Instagram, because that's where I'll be drawing the prizes for. And I just want to say that there's been quite a bit of interest in continuing on with the make along. So I think we're going to look at doing another year of it. And yeah, So if you're interested, I already have, like, obviously I've talked about it. I have so many projects in mind. I have the daffodil, I have the samfree, I have all the yarn for it. I just got the Cumbria book. Like, anyways, I'm going to be knitting Marie Wallin patterns for quite some time. So if you're interested in joining along, I will, when it gets closer to August 1st, like the ending of this round, I'll start talking more about the details, but I think it's going to be more open. So it'll be, it will be whips. Whips will be included. Like in this one, there it wasn't. You had to have started after August 1st. I think moving forward, we're going to include whips, and yeah. And I might do prizes kind of throughout. I don't know. Anyways, and there'll be a new hashtag for it and everything. Anyways, stay tuned for that. And if you're interested, that's great. And as I've mentioned in previous podcast episodes, we have a group on Slack, which is an app that is similar to Discord. It's kind of like a chat group where you can have different threads for different topics and share your photos and things like that. So we have a thread on my Slack group for the Marie Wallin Make Along, where we're all sharing our works in progress and inspiration and perhaps encouraging each other to cast on new things. It's a really great little group, and if you'd like to be a part of it, I welcome you. And even if you don't want to knit a Marie Wallin pattern, nothing to do with Marie Wallin, the group is open to anybody. And we're talking about our works in progress, anything knitting related, crochet related. We've got, threads for all different topics. So yeah, you're more than welcome to join in, and I will always put the link down below in the description. And if you are having any difficulties joining and you want to, just let me know. Okay, so I think that's it. Oh, forgot a few details. Good thing I have notes. So in terms of the chestnut, I'm using Marie Wallin's British Breeds yarn, which is the called for yarn. These are the colors. There's 8 different colors in this pattern. And the yarn is very beautiful. It's very sheepy. If you like sheepy yarns, this one's a very sheepy yarn. It is, I always forget the combination. So it's a fine blend of wool spun in Devon from the Blueface Leicester, Exmoor, Wensleydale, and Zwartbles sheep breeds. And where does it say? Are they 25 gram? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're 25 gram balls. They are not cheap, at least not over here. I don't know if you guys get them cheaper over, in the UK or what have you, but we certainly have to pay quite a bit for them. So I've mentioned this before. This will probably be my one and only time knitting with this yarn, but it is beautiful. I definitely recommend that if it's within your budget to try it, give it a shot. It's so lovely. And the colors are really pretty. Like, they're very heathered. I always like to show this one because you can kind of see there's like yellows and reds. It's just really pretty colors. Also, I'm not sponsored by anyone, just making that clear. I just talk about what I like on this podcast. So yeah, that is the yarn. And what else? I'm using US 4 needles for the body. So I actually went up a needle size. And I'm still knitting too tight apparently, because when I did another gauge swatch, or not gauge swatch, I did do a gauge swatch before I started. But when I measured my gauge after I washed and blocked my piece, it was tighter than I thought it was going to be. So it actually, I was right, it actually was tighter. It grew in length, but stitch count was tighter. I don't know, it was weird. And so then I'm using US 3s for the ribbing, and I'm making the size extra large, which accommodates a 44 to 46 inch bust. And that is it for the chestnut, I think. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. With that, thank you to everyone who took the time to comment on the last episode and let me know whether or not you are a monogamous knitter, or if you like casting on all the things, if you have thresholds. It was a real mixed bag of responses. I was pleasantly surprised. There's actually quite a few monogamous knitters out there. but I would say that the majority of people that I like that responded were definitely non-monogamous. And I loved that some people had some very creative solutions on how they justify new projects, casting on things, stuff like that. I found that very entertaining. So thank you so much for taking time to comment. And yeah, it's very interesting. Okay, so now I have a new question for you. Now that we've determined, you know, majority of people seem to be non-monogamous knitters, I'm curious to know, are you a process knitter or are you a product knitter? And I'm also interested in knowing if there's a correlation between monogamous and product or process. I'm really curious to see. I don't know. So let me know down below. Do you enjoy the process of knitting more, or are you more product driven? Like, do you want that item to wear? Yeah, I think I'm definitely a mixed bag on that one, because I very much enjoy the process of knitting. I would say I'm like 90% process knitter, 10% product knitter, although I do love the products. And it has to be something I really want to wear. Yeah, I've been a lot more conscious of that, of making sure that, so in the beginning, I would say I was like 100% process knitter. I was like, oh, I want to try that crazy brioche like giant shawl. And then I'd get it made and be like, I'm never going to wear this. Like, how am I going to wear this? So I think I've balanced my choices a little better now. Now I want something interesting that's going to hold my attention or teach me a new technique, but I also have to make sure that it's going to be something I'm going to wear at the end of it, because I really don't want things for myself. I just don't want them sitting around. Yeah. So I think I'm a bit of both. That's like a bit of a cop-out answer, but I very much enjoy the process of knitting. I very rarely get frustrated. I do at times, but yeah, I have no problems ripping back and restarting something, or, you know, numerous times. That doesn't bother me. It does bother me when I finish something and it doesn't fit the way I want it to, though. That bothers me. It doesn't happen as often as it used to. That was something that I really found happened to me a lot, and that was largely because I wasn't doing any gauge swatches back in the day. I just winged it. Who needs gauge swatches, I'd say. And that's okay. I know this is controversial because I know there's a lot of people who don't gauge swatch, and I'm not going to call them out on it. You know who you are. But there really is a purpose to it. I've personally found that when I gauge swatch, I am way more likely to enjoy the final product. So there's got to be something to it. So highly recommend. There's my plug for gauge swatching. So I think that's it for all the making talk, and we'll just move into a few life things. There's nothing crazy going on in my life lately. I forget what I was going to mention now. That's great. Oh, gardening. Of course. If I'm not talking about knitting, I'm talking about gardening. And it's not like I'm a master gardener. I don't want to give this impression to you guys that I know what I'm doing by any means. I don't know. I just find enjoyment in it and trial and error. So I had mentioned that I would wanted to, firstly, find some clematis to plant to go up my trellis arbor swing that John had made me last year or 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, when did he make that? Can't even remember. Anyways, it's been a little while, and I finally found some clematis. I was hoping for pink or red because I really wanted to attract hummingbirds. We have hummingbirds in the area for sure. Ruby-throated hummingbirds. And I was really hoping to find, you know, bright red or pink colors because they're attracted to those. Unfortunately, I don't think I got those. I definitely got a purple one. 3 out of the 4 are not blooming, so I'm not entirely sure what color they are. Sorry, I had to take a sip there. My throat's getting dry from talking so much. So yeah, I got those planted. And what else? Oh, I planted a mini, probably the world's smallest vegetable garden. Just a few plants of different things. So what did I plant? Okay. Cucumber, squash, watermelon, broccoli, romaine lettuce, peas, beans, carrots, and tomatoes. I think I got everything. Oh, and peppers, red peppers. So we'll see. I was a little bit disappointed because I hadn't seen anything growing in the garden at all after I planted it. So I did all this planting, I think it was last weekend. Might have been the weekend before. Anyways, it was one of the weekends. I did all this planting and I hadn't seen anything until I think yesterday or the day before. And then I noticed a few pea plants were starting to show up. So that was cool. And now they're really growing. We got a ton of rain and it was very cloudy for quite a few days. So not as much sun as we would have liked. And the temperatures haven't been great. We got, like, it's so funny. We got this really warm spell at the very beginning of spring and it was like summer weather. And then all of a sudden it's been like fall. So the planting or the growing has not been the greatest, but things are coming along. I see some little carrot fronds. I don't know what they're called. Little things sticking out of the ground. And what else is coming up? There was something else coming up anyways, but that's not a lot out of all of the things that we planted. The tomatoes are coming up. So that's good. As long as the critters don't get at them, we'll see how this goes. I don't know. I've already seen the squirrel digging around. He or she has been burying. You know what I mean? Putting things into our garden. I keep finding little holes with things in them that I didn't plant. So, and then the strawberries, I don't know what happened. They were in full bloom. There were so many flowers and I kept checking on them and I could see like the petals had fallen off and the little berries were starting to form. They were green. And I was like, we're going to get so many strawberries. And now they're all gone. And I don't know if they got eaten while they were green or if they were shriveled up. They just didn't make it. I don't know. There's nothing there. It's very disappointing. So I've turned my attention to the raspberries now. I'm hoping for some raspberries. We'll see. I don't know. There's still a few more flowers left on the strawberry plant, so maybe it's not all lost, but I don't know. Okay, so I think that's it for the updates on the gardening front. On the non-gardening front, I don't know. We haven't been doing much. I've been going for walks in the mornings, trying to get more exercise because if it were up to me, I would use every spare moment to just sit and knit. Even my reading has fallen by the wayside. I really need to start taking more time to read. Anyways, yeah, so not much going on. What are we doing? This weekend, we are not doing anything exciting. I think we might go look at some furniture, which that's exciting. In the market for a new couch, and my daughter needs a new dresser. And what else? Next weekend, we're going to go up to Birch Lake and see my mom and my stepdad, which will be really nice. We haven't been there yet this year, so that'll be lovely. My daughter is so excited to go in the lake. I hope it's warm because I know she's going to drag me in with her. Oh gosh, kids. So yeah, that'll be lovely. It'll be so nice to see them again and to be out in the woods. Always love that. And I think that's it. Otherwise I'm going to start rambling about nonsensical things and you guys aren't here for that. So I'm going to cut things short here. And I just want to say thank you so much again for watching. And if you would be so kind, if you did enjoy this video, to give it a like and make sure that you're subscribed. That would be wonderful because it really helps my channel. And I hope you have the most wonderful next 3 weeks and I'll see you then. Happy making. Bye.